am a construction solutions director with Suffolk. Suffolk is a national general contractor, and we're headquartered in Boston. But we do have offices all around the country. And what's really cool at Suffolk is that we also have co-labs, short for construction labs, that are in our major offices. So what you see behind me on the screen, this is a snapshot of the Los Angeles office, but a little history on the labs. So we built the first one in San Francisco back in 2017. I guess it was the birthplace or emergence of the tech. And then subsequently, we built out labs in New York, Boston, again, where we're headquartered, Miami, Tampa, Dallas, and then the latest lab to come online was LA in early 2019. So I've been really excited to be running this space for almost 2 years at this point. And let's get into some of the tech. So I will share my screen and we will be doing a virtual walkthrough of this space. So one moment. To switch over. Okay. So I hope that looks good. It should be showing a 360 image of the lab.
Looks good. Looks
good. All right. So what we see here on this very long screen, this is what we call our huddle wall. It's essentially a really long digital whiteboard, but it's a little bit more than that. So what we like to use this for, you'll see on here, this is Touch Plan, and it's got basically digital poll planning capabilities. So this lets us, instead of using paper stickies that may fall off, may be illegible, to do lean poll planning process, this allows us to digitize and then get more efficiencies and collaboration out of our tools. So since we have this in the office, as long as you have internet connection, you can connect and collaborate on the same space. So this is really great to connect the operations people in the field to whatever is happening in the office. A little bit of a stepped back view. So here you can see we also have a 3D model side by side. It's possible to pull up any content really you want to on this screen. So some specifics on the tech, the way it's run, it's with 3 different projectors that are using edge blending techniques to bring the images into one seamless visual to interact with. And then also what you may not be able to see quite well up here, this fixture on the ceiling here, this is a camera that's reading a special dot pattern on the board to get it to all work. So that is our huddle wall. So next up in the construction lab, this is our 2x2, or what we call our live job site feeds. So this pulls from a camera that's placed on the job site, and it's sending a live capture of what's happening in real time. So a lot of different use cases for this. One, of course, is safety. It's especially great to have another pair of eyes on different vantage points of the job site, and also progress tracking. And as we all know, with COVID, with remote working, it's critical to be able to see what's going on without necessarily having to travel to the site in person. So this is a really great tool to overcome that challenge. Additionally, since we have cameras on our job sites throughout Suffolk, it's really great to see the different types of work that we do in different regions. So, for example, we may see more beach type resorts in Southern California or Florida, maybe more high rises in the Northeast. So it's really great to showcase what our experience is and definitely feel that we're all one connected team. So moving on, What we have next up here in the lab, this is a giant data wall, and we also call it our 3x3 because it's 3 screens by 3 screens, so in total 9. Each of these screens is connected to a separate data source, or a separate computer rather. So we have the ability to drive each one and bring up as many points of data as we like to present. So one really special thing that I find very unique about Suffolk is that we have our own in-house data team. And what you'll see an image of in the top left quadrant here is a picture of one of our data dashboards. So our data team works with alongside the collab as well as alongside operations to create these dashboards that are really useful for generating insights and allowing the teams to do preventative management rather than reactionary management. So that being said, it's connected to live data sources, so things like schedule, project management data for RFIs and submittals, financials, even down to employee training, you name it, it's on there. And we have different indicators, red, green, orange, that just like a stoplight tell us what the direction is that we are trending in. So if something's turning green, that's good. If something's trending in a red direction, then that's something we catch very early on, and we can have a smart discussion about it as a team. Additionally, so beyond this screen, you'll see a bunch of little mini screens around it. So in the labs, we have somewhere north of 150 project pilots at this point that we've run on different jobs across the country. So one of the challenges is to share our experience with our operations teams and our clients so that we understand what solutions are available so we can help solve those problems. So for example, a couple of things that are on here, smartbid.io for safety tracking, Triax are for worker management. This is a 4D schedule of one of our projects that links the model to a schedule in Synchro, voyage control for site logistics and scheduling delivery management, and Rumbix for T&M ticketing. So that's just a small handful of the tools that we use. So you can see why having the screen real estate and the data available makes it a lot easier to share with others. So as we progress through the lab, and one thing I'll note, the Los Angeles lab is a little different than the rest of our other labs throughout. So it's split into 2 rooms. Some of the other labs are connected, but for us here in LA, we have 2 rooms. And this is what we call our VR or cave. So in LA, we don't typically have the cave setup. So it's really just used for virtual reality, which I'll get to in just a second. So as we enter, you'll see here that there is a VR station. This is an HTC Vive headset, and this is the laptop that runs it. In the top corners, we have the base stations that do the tracking for the VR activities. And then on this wall, you can see we have a model that's up for review. So this is something where we can either have a very high-end, very intensely modeled unit that's used for owner review, architect review, constructability review, you name it. And then we have also other capabilities through Iris VR to do more coordination-like activities. And that is actually really nice because you can do that with any file. So Revit, Navis, SketchUp, Rhino, you can all get a quick VR experience out of it. And then last but not least, as we turn around here, is our Surface Hub. So this is Microsoft Surface Hub, it integrates with all of the Microsoft Suite products, which is great if your organization has that. Very, I guess, ease of use for collaboration, for conferencing, and for sharing files, whiteboarding. Excellent tool. So what also you can't quite see on the screen here, it moves, so it can go completely flat and double as a digital plan table. So we do have a couple job sites that have used this at Suffolk to serve as a digital plan table in the fields. So that is one really cool use out of that. So that takes us to the end of the physical space tour. And the tool that I'm using here actually is OpenSpace. It's a 360 camera that mounts to a hard hat. So we actually use this mostly for our job site documentations, but just wanted to shout it out because it's great to just map pretty much any floor plan or space. But one thing I will mention, so it is amazing that we have the physical space in the lab, but what I was also pleasantly surprised about, especially with the switch to remote working, is that we're pretty much able to access and experience all of these different pieces of tech in different ways here at home or on the job site without necessarily having to be here in person. So most of these things, if you have internet, you can have some version of it on your PC at home. So for example, the live feeds, if you have a link to the live feed, you can put that up on a screen and see that. And then most of these have either demo sites or available on the web. For the VR portion as well, what's surprising is that we do have the ability to do a desktop walkthrough. So not as immersive as, of course, being in the headset, but what I've just opened up on the screen, this is a VR file of one of our labs. This is the New York lab. And you can see that you can kind of get that same sort of feel of being in the space without being in the space. And just for another level of inception, here we're in the New York VR room, virtually doing VR. So kind of fun there. So in this desktop version of VR, we also have other models that we can walk through. So if we want to go through something like the Hard Rock Hotel and go through one of the model units, it's entirely possible to still get that similar experience of that virtual design review, going through a virtual mock-up, and understanding what you're building before you build it. So just a couple fun examples there. And I can probably stay walking through these models all day, but I will leave it at that. It lets me quit. Okay. So more or less, that's what I have for the group today. We went through a virtual walkthrough of the collab space. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not the same as in person, but hopefully sometime soon we will be able to go back to doing some normal tours of the space and really get the full experience together. So in essence, you know, we have the tech, we have the tools. It's all so that we can bridge the challenges and the gaps that we see in the AEC industry now. I think most of us have seen the issues of increasing design challenges, schedule constraints, budget constraints, always ever safer, but having to do it with less resources. So technology, innovation, some of the things that I've shown today are all trying to push the industry forward and really make a world where we can build better And for Suffolk, that really means proven possible wrong.
Yeah, that's awesome.